Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. And heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise 24/7 at the MikeWagnerShow.com. T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, throw bags, tote pillows, and more. Makes great gift ideas for your family and friends. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, including tank tops, hoodies, and also phone cases, and a lot more. Go to Me and Molson Zia store and Amazon.com and check out his catalog of great books, including Missing, Once, and more. Go to Amazon.com/Me and Molson Zia and check out the Me and Molson Zia store today. Make sure you buy, and don't forget to support us generously at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also support us on Anchor FM/support, and also PayPal at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do it today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who is a singer, songwriter, guitarist, and just an amazing legend, just coming out of the Boston music scene. And he's from Philadelphia, and he grew up in near Clear Air Force Base in Clear, Alaska, then came back to Philly, and he's toured with Joanna Wild, In Excess, Rush, Scorpions, and Def Leppard, and all the 80s classics. And he also formed this wonderful group we'll talk about in just a minute. In 79, performed throughout New England and opened for Jay Giles Band on the Freeze Frame tour. And he's also got 2 solo albums released, and he's got a couple of works, a couple of movies, and a brand new album we'll talk about live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios along the East Coast, the very, very multi-talented Jon Butcher. Jon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I mean, you're just an amazing talent as well, too. I mean, you've been a legend in the Boston area, New England in the 80s, and you've got, you formed the Jon Butcher Axis, and you also performed throughout New England, and you opened for Jay Giles Band, which had to be amazing during the Freeze Frame tour. You later formed Barefoot Serpents in 94 with Leland Sklar, and you also released 2 solo albums. And you also you have a number of albums like your self-titled debut, Stare at the Sun, Along the Axis, and which featured The Ritual, got some awards out of that, and some great airplay. And of course, you had Wishes, Pictures from the Front, and more. And before we talk about that, tell us how you first got started, Jon.
How I first got started playing guitar was I wanted to be a singing cowboy.
Oh, really?
Living in Alaska, we got TV shows later than most people. So I would watch singing cowboys like Roy Rogers. And I said, geez, the horse, the girl, that looks good to me. And up until recently, I guess I decided I wasn't going to be a cowboy anymore, but the music worked out.
And of course, as long as you get the girl, that's the main goal of the cowboy.
Yeah, I sure did.
Exactly. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing today, besides Roy Rogers?
I snuck in backstage at a venue in Philadelphia called the Electric Factory, and I saw Jimi Hendrix do his sound check. I was too young to get in, but that was life altering. Hearing that level of loud guitar and feeling it in my bones was life altering, as I said, and that I think was the moment I knew where my path was.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it had to be a big influence as well, too. And besides Jimi Hendrix, who are some other favorite artists, singers, and musicians growing up?
That's a tough one. In terms of writing, I've loved everyone from Stevie Wonder to John Lennon, and Paul Simon. All of these classic writers had a deep impact on me, and I kind of opened my eyes to a bigger world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes musicians' circles are small, and the more you travel and the more things you see and the more people you meet, your vision gets wider. I think that's what happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And of course, too, the fact that you also venture on your own as well, too, that you also got started as well, too. I mean, that you toured with Joanna Wild, In Excess, and everything else, and you also formed Jon Butcher Axis as well too in '79. And I mean, you just took an amazing journey.
Yeah, Axis was really the beginning. I was in a local band called Joanna Wild in Boston, but when Axis formed, we got signed to Polygram Records, and that was the beginning of traveling the world and seeing how big the world was. And that has an impact on young musicians. At least it did for me. Mm-hmm. Touring in those days meant, back in the early days, it meant jumping into a van all together and driving to places. And the more the band traveled, kind of the bigger we got. And so that allowed me to go to the UK and Europe and to discover the power of music.
It had to be. And what would you say your favorite place was on the other side of the pond?
Hammersmith.
Hammersmith, really? How
Yeah.
so?
Because it was at the time that we were there, it was Energy Plus. I stayed for a while at a studio in Monmouth, Wales, called Rockfield, where Robert Plant did his record, and that was life altering for me too. Being away from home and seeing again how big the world is, and meeting people like Plant and Eddie Van Halen and all of these people, Jeff Beck, and all the people that became my contemporaries was, for a young guy, it was mind blowing. There's no other way to say it.
It has to be mind blowing as well too. And what was it like when playing with those guys?
I did a video with Jeff Beck called "Ambitious" in the mid or late '80s, and he was one of my guitar heroes, and he still is. I think he's the greatest living guitar player. And meeting him and spending time with him and learning just how to be changed me, I think, for the better. I became more interested in everything, more interested in my own career as a writer. It was really important I hated my singing at the beginning of my career. The first two records that I did with Axis on Polygram Records, they're really hard for me to listen to now because I hear all the mistakes. I hear all the things I didn't know how to do then that I learned how to do later. And that was out of traveling and meeting people and working with terrific musicians.
It had to be interesting too, and we'll talk more about your previous music as well too, some of your accomplishments, and also your projects as well too, like Jon Butcher 360 and Watercolors movies, and you got Special Day coming up. We'll talk about those, but first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forge Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, and heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, including t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, throw pillows, tote bags, and more, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, including hoodies, as well as phone cases, tank tops, and a lot more, and great books by Mia Molson Zia, go to Amazon.com and check out Mia Molson Zia's Missing. Also, other great works, and make sure you support today. And also, check out the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM/support, and make sure you give today. Also, donate generously to the MikeWagnerShow.com, and also on PayPal at Mike Wagner Show today. Make sure you do as well. We're here with the amazing singer, songwriter, and amazing guitarist, Jon Butcher, here on the Mike Wagner Show, from Philadelphia, going to Clear Air Force Base and back to Philly. He also toured with Joanna Wild, In Excess, Rush, Scorpions, Def Leppard, more. And you also open up for the Jay Giles Band with the Freeze Frame. And tell us more about that. What's it like playing for Jay Giles?
Well, first of all, getting chosen to open that tour was magic. Imagine being in Boston at that time when the Jay Giles Band and Aerosmith were it. And through a confluence of events, we were chosen, Axis was chosen to open 3 dates at the Boston Garden around New Year's Eve, just 3 days. Well, that was amazing. But unbeknownst to me, Peter Wolf loved it. And we ended up doing the 70-date tour. And so here I am for the first time in my young life, seeing, 25 and 30,000 seat venues and being the opening act for one of the best and most popular bands in the world. It was the ultimate springboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, it is. And of course, I remember Jay Giles and seeing him and putting on a show, especially a Freeze Frame. And I think that was the album that really pulled him over the top. But then 70s, you also had some other albums as well, too. I could probably think back to Love Stinks. And I think those like their first and second album. And I'm trying to remember which one's like, oh my gosh, it's like I got to go through my microfiche of 80s stuff. So
Mike, we got along really well, the band and us. And we got to be friends, and I'm still friends with those guys all these years later. And I credit that tour, and I credit Peter Wolf and the band for choosing us to go on that tour as being really the launch of my career.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also had some other great works as well, too, that you also had your debut album. You also had Stare at the Sun. You also had Along the Axis, which featured Ritual and got a lot of amazing airplay, and also got nominated for some Grammys as well. What's that?
Nominated for a Grammy.
Yes, that's right.
For the first time,
yeah, that was your big accomplishment. I mean, you just have like, a king scroll of it. Was it Not for Bust? And also had you had, what was it? Pictures from the Front and Wisdom, Wishes, and
Electric
More. I mean,
Factory was what I did. A couple of records for Mike Varney's label, Blues Records. One Electric Factory, and those records are still around and they're great. And all of these experiences together, Mike, all of them together really made me, created the guy I am now, for better or worse. I think for better. All of those experiences, all the wonderful people I've met along the way, all the brilliant musicians that I've had a chance to tour with and write with and work with, I credit them all for allowing me to have a career.
Mm-hmm. And of course, too, you also, did a couple of solo projects, and you also formed, what was it, Barefoot Serpents in '94 with Leland Sklar, and had him on the show. He was great.
Yeah, Leland Sklar on bass, Ben Schultz on guitar, and Ray Brinker on drums. And that was something. First of all, meeting Leland, who has played with everybody on earth. Mm-hmm. How do you not feel honored by that? I was honored and felt special. And that tour cemented my relationship with Lee forever. We're brothers now. And it happened on that tour. So even though the Servants only did 2 records, and even within the span of those 2 records, we did a lot of traveling in the United States, and we got to be friends, and that's what I value. I value his friendship more than any other.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I had him on the show a couple of times on the Mike Wagner show, and you get him talking about something, and he'll just go on. And I mean, he just had some great tales, even about Phil Collins and Genesis. I mean,
I know. Imagine riding a tour bus with him, Mike.
What's that?
I said, imagine riding a tour bus with Lee. The stories go on all night, all day, and all the next night. And all of us are held wrapped because this guy has done it all. He's been there, he's seen the mountaintop, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I learned a lot from Lee. I think the most important thing I learned is how to be, just how to be. And that guy is comfortable in his own skin. And I think if we can all figure out how to be comfortable in our own skin, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good thing as well, too, that you also proceeded to, go on some other projects like Jon Butcher 360, Watercolors movies, and you also got Special Day, your brand new album. I mean, what an accomplishment you have.
I think it's the best, Mike. I think it's the best record I've ever done. And I know artists say that, but I've done several records. Okay. I have a track record, and I know that this album, Special Day, is all of the things I learned and all of the stories I've been privy to and all of the friendships I've made, all condensed into this album.
It had to be, and maybe you can just share a few stories you had as well too. It can be like something you had on stage with a friend, or play with somebody, or maybe even something that's funny that just say people say, "What the heck?" So Leland Sklar always has a thing about somebody with something, and just goes on, and maybe something similar too. So
we were touring, not with Lee, but in Axis. We were supporting the Holy War record. And I had done a video for MTV that had one of the televangelists on a banner in back of me that the video producers set on fire. Well,
oh my!
I thought that was cool, right? So we're on tour, and I get off the tour bus in Tennessee, and there's cops everywhere, right? There's cops all around the bus. I hadn't gotten off the bus yet, and I'm looking outside. Geez, I wonder what's going on out here. And riot police. And when I opened the door, the captain of the police department came up and he says, "Are you Jon Butcher?" And I went, "Who wants to know?" And that's when I found out that all the hullabaloo was because of my video that had pissed people off, not the fans. The fans that came and bought the tickets for the show, well, they loved that. But all of these Christian groups and people got very angry with me. And that, of course, blew up and made the album sell. And I got, I was on TV the next day, and I learned something about accidental publicity.
We've been there. Yeah.
It wasn't my idea, but it worked out.
I think we'll have to try that one day, try to create something by accident. I mean,
yeah, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. It kind of maybe think of accidental publicity. It's like, just kind of go off tangent a little bit. Maybe think of that Wendy's commercial where that punchline is supposed to be. It's like, look at all that bread. And then Clara Peller says those three famous words, "Where's the beef?" That was accidental publicity. People remember that than what the original punchline was said. So
listen to this, Mike. I used to have this manager back in the day. This guy had worked with Aerosmith, so I thought he was legit. I won't mention his name. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it didn't take long to discover that he was stealing from the band. Really? All our tour receipts, all our merchandise money stolen, right? So I said to him, "Well, listen, that's enough. Let's just part company and we'll be friends, and that's that." I didn't want to go after him. I just wanted to be done with it and move on. Mm-hmm. One day, not long after that, I was playing in Providence, Rhode Island, and these two guys, they looked like they were from The Sopranos, walked into my sound check and just stood in front of me on stage. Now, there's nobody in the room because it's sound check. The show hasn't started yet. And these two guys who look like they're from The Sopranos were staring at me, and I'm standing on the stage by myself, messing with my guitar and getting ready to have dinner. So finally, I'm getting scared. And I start to leave the stage, and one of the guys walks up to me and he goes, "Are you Jon Butcher?"
Oh, my God.
He wasn't smiling. I said, "Yes, I am, sir. How can I help you?" And he whips out a badge like this, and he shows it and puts it away. And he goes, "Are you Jon Butcher?" He said it again, just like that. That's all he said. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what's going to happen here? I don't know who these two guys are. So I'm trying to make up my mind what to do. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a contract. He has this piece of paper and he shows this to me. And the contract says, "I, Jon Butcher, swear to never leave blank blank, this manager, and I owe him all this money, and sign it." And I'm thinking, what? Yes, dude. So he whips out a pen. He goes, "Do you want to sign this?" And my mind is racing. What do? Do I say no and try and run? Are they going to shoot me? Break my legs? So I had the presence of mind to go, anything I sign like this is not going to hold up in court. So I took the document that he said, this letter that I supposedly wrote to reinstate my old manager. Mm-hmm. I signed it, gave it back to him. He folds up the letter, he puts it in his pocket, and then he reaches into his other pocket and he whips out a poster of me. And he says, "Will you sign this for my daughter?"
Oh my gosh.
And I'm freaking out. Because I just wanted this to be over. So I signed the poster and these two guys leave and we called the FBI that night.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was that's the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. This manager got arrested. He went to jail.
Oh my
and
God.
I never found out what happened after that. But that was my, what would I call it? My close call with the mafia. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Boy, I guess forget about, will take on a different meaning, it seems. Woo.
It's, you know, now that I look back on it, that story has some comedy to it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I'm shaking in my boots because I don't know what they're going to do to me.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. A day in the life.
A day in the life, pretty much as well, too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we'd love to have you play as well too, but you're in a little studio and whatever else. And you know, and speaking of things you've done as well too, that you know, a lot of guys were on shutdown because of pandemic and everything else. And you were working on some projects as well too, like Jon Butcher 360, watercolors, movies, and Special Day. And were those done during the pandemic, or what were you doing, you know, by the time the pandemic started and up until now, and everyone's like, okay, let's go back to work?
Yeah, during the pandemic, I decided to do something with that static energy, right? There was all of my gigs were canceled, just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. All the tours that we had lined up, everything canceled. So I took that energy and decided, I've always been interested in making my own videos for promotion. I threw myself headlong into this project, and it turned into a company called Watercolors. And we make mini movies for artists or other people who are interested in getting a message out.
Oh, really?
And I got good at it. And over the past year, that's taken off. I've got a client list that I do these mini movies, I call them, for. And it's really allowed me an outlet, a creative outlet for that energy that was sort of like pent up while we didn't go anywhere, you know? Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I had a studio. And like many musicians, I went into the studio and started to create the foundation for Special Day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And also tell us more about the watercolor movies and, you know, where can we find them and who you had on and everything.
Sure.
That sounds like a really interesting project.
I have a website called Watercolors and a Facebook page. So anybody can find it just by going to Facebook and inputting Watercolors by Jon Butcher. Okay. And what I found out was there was a niche that can't be filled by musicians who don't have a $40,000 or $50,000 budget, mm-hmm. you know, to do a vid or to do a short promo. And I filled that niche in terms of being able to allow guys like myself who don't have deep pockets, but had an interest in getting the word out, getting the message out about a new record or a new book. And it really worked out. I'm so happy I spent time doing that because it's something I really enjoy. And it's something that sort of, it made itself worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds too. And where can we find watercolor movies at?
You can go to Facebook. I think that's the best. That's where I would suggest going first. Watercolors by Jon Butcher. Put that into your search box at Facebook, and you'll see all about it.
Okay. All right. We'll certainly do so. We'll talk a bit more about Special Day, what's coming up for Jon Butcher and more. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international war-ring author, Ian Mosen's Zia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the amazing Jon Butcher after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with the very multi-talented guitarist, songwriter, and more, Jon Butcher, formed by Jon Butcher Axis, and also toured with Joanna Wild and all the other great groups here on the Mike Wagner Show, very influential in the 80s New England scene. We talked a little bit about Jon Butcher 360, Watercolors movies, and you also got a special day as well, too. We touched a bit, and maybe just tell a bit more and what songs are on there, and also what inspired you to do Special Day and more, especially what the lyrics you're based on.
Special Day it was born out of the pandemic. And I realized something about myself in terms of writing. I write small stories. You can talk about big topics framed in small ways, and people can hear that. A lot of times when a writer tries to tackle topics like racism or poverty, if you put it in that context, it's a turnoff because people don't want to engage in big topics. Right. But small stories about this person or that person in your life that has a subtext of those bigger topics, that really works. And that's what Special Day is about. Special Day is a collection of small stories that talk about big things.
Wow, that's interesting. And give us some examples too, like about small topics into big things. I mean, this is really interesting. There's
a track, Special Day, the title track was about my mother telling me that I was worthwhile. I know that sounds insignificant, but so many of us grow up without really learning that we are worthwhile, that we have something to offer. And so from my mom, I took that small story and the song and the video, the supporting movie is about small stories, the small things that happen to people that have big impacts on their lives.
Right. Yeah. And of course, you also had some others as well, too. And I hear of human interest stories all the time, like a paraplegic, end up winning Nobel Peace Prize, or say like with a single mother of 8 living in poverty, creates a recipe or whatever. And it becomes multi-million-dollar business, stuff like that. I mean, people need to hear that.
The very thing what you just said, I wrote a song. One of my biggest records was called Wishes. And that came out in the late 80s. And that album for me was big because the title track was about a poor woman with kids to feed. But I didn't want to talk about poverty. I wanted to talk about this woman's life. And in that way, it reached a lot of people. It was successful for me around the world. And I think it's because people could relate to the story of this woman and the struggle for life and her kids, instead of soapboxing and talking about, inequality. I don't think I want to write a story about inequality. What I want to talk about is a man or a woman or a boy or a girl who is dealing with inequality in their life, and tell that story and not soapbox.
And of course, go ahead. I'm sorry. You got a good thing going.
No, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does make sense. And we can all relate these days. And, people are looking for something different, especially during this time. And what else do you base your lyrics on?
They're usually, my lyrics come from my experience. I have a hard time talking about things that I don't know or that haven't happened to me personally. And I've lived a long enough life now where several things like those two mafia guys in Providence, Rhode Island, things have happened to me. And so those anecdotes find their way into my music and my lyrics. And that's important to me. And that's what Special Day is about. They're small stories about big things.
And where can we find Special Day at?
It's going to be released June 15th. And at June 15th, it'll be available everywhere at all the usual suspects.
Okay. All right. That sounds very good. We're looking forward to it. Once again, we're with Jon Butcher here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a few more things. You've been absolutely amazing. I learned a lot from you. And what else can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Jon?
I'm going to continue expanding watercolors. I have an opportunity to work with the wonderful singer Patty Austin, and I'm going to be doing a movie with her. I'm also always looking for opportunities to branch out of music that I'm doing and see where it leads. I do a certain amount of acoustic gigs a year, and I really enjoy that, solo acoustic gigs. And I also still tour occasionally with Axis. And I think 2021 and 2022 is going to be about promoting Special Day and traveling.
I think, and certainly looking forward to it. I mean, I'm very looking forward to it. And who do you consider your biggest influence in your career?
I don't know. I'm gonna say three people. I'm gonna say Sly Stone, Paul Simon, and John Lennon.
A very interesting trinity. I seem to like that. Yeah, I'll put that on my mic cross too. So. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Oh, advice is bad.
Advice is bad. Okay.
If people ask for advice, I'm inclined to maybe give my opinion, but oftentimes if it's not asked for, then it's kind of like an intrusion, like a tap on the shoulder. Here's some advice. I think if I were to say anything, it would be about learning to live with yourself. Learning to be comfortable in your own skin is probably the most important thing you can do for yourself.
And that's very important as well, too. Once again, we're with Jon Butcher, singer, songwriter, multi-talented guitarist here on the Mike Wagner Show. Jon, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. And by the way, we are looking forward to having you soon and keep us up to date. We're not going to, say you're not coming back. We definitely have you back on. Just keep us up to date. And just one more thing. Tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, where can people purchase or listen to your music or check out watercolors?
Okay. First of all, I can be found at Facebook and all of the other social media outlets. Excuse me. I'm also promoting watercolors, my mini movie making business, and Special Day will be released June 15th everywhere. And I think you'll have a hard time not finding it, but I'll send you a copy anyway.
That sounds good. We're certainly looking forward to it. Once again, Jon, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely terrific. Looking forward to having you soon. No problem. And do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back on 2021 beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch. You've been absolutely terrific.
Terrific. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, everybody. My name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.